Many people live a good life, full of joy and happiness. But on the other side of the mountain, there are people who care more about money than the lives of other people. Seoul, South Korea. 502 people dead in a department store collapse in 1995. Investigators found that city officials had been bribed to allow contractors to use substandard concrete and to violate safety rules. Government corruption has been defined by many as the abuse of public power for illegitimate private gain. Corruption undermines the legitimacy of a government in power and ends all hope of democratic values such as trust and tolerance. There are two ways of corruption of the judiciary: corruption of the state through budget planning and various privileges, and the corruption of the private. Budget in many developing countries is almost completely controlled by the executive. Private corruption undermines the separation of powers as it creates a large financial dependence of the judiciary. The extent of the problem is breathtaking, according to European Commission Home Affairs Commissioner Cecilia Malmström. She added that a political commitment to really root out corruption seems to be missing. A large amount of the time, governments are letting companies violate safety rules and allow themselves to be bribed because they care more about money than the safety of people. The word corruption can mean different things in different countries. Sometimes, some forms of bribery, or as people who refuse to believe in bribery call it, political funding, are actually legal in some countries and illegal in others. In all, bribery alone is estimated to involve over $3 trillion annually. According to World Bank, recent evidence suggests that variation in the levels of corruption amongst high-income democracies can vary significantly depending on the level of accountability of decision makers. What can help fight corruption, you may ask? Well, mobile telecommunications, radio broadcasting, and advertising greatly help to fight corruption, especially in developing regions like Africa, where other forms of communications are limited. Measuring corruption statistically is difficult, if not impossible, due to the hard-to-track nature of the transaction and imprecise definitions of corruption per country. The best we've gotten to measure corruption is by using the Corruption Perception Index, CPI, which measures a few forms of corruption, but leaves some out, and measures public perceptions of the extent of the problem. This measurement first appeared in 1995. Institutions dealing with political corruption. Global Witness, an international NGO established in 1993 that works to break links between the natural resource exploitation, conflict, poverty, corruption, and human rights abuses worldwide. Group of States Against Corruption, a body established under the Council of Europe to monitor the implementation of instruments adopted by member states to combat political corruption. Independent Commission Against Corruption, International Anti-Corruption Academy, Transparency International, a non-governmental organization that monitors and publicizes corporate and political corruption in international development.